Hello everyone, this is Void Spirit. I'm here to bring you guys amazing fanfiction that you will surely enjoy. But before we start, please subscribe and like the video for more amazing content. CH46. Akame of the Murasama. Currently the group was leaving the Gurian volcano. They just got space magic and also got the proof of the dungeon conquest. Space magic could be used in many ways, but the main one is the portal. A portal that shortens distances and could be very useful. As usual, Hajime and Shia had no aptitude with this magic, but Hajime could make artifacts with it. The dungeon conquest proof was a black and red ring. The ring could be used to open a shortcut that would make it easier to exit the Gurian dungeon, and in addition would be needed to open the Haltina Sea of Trees dungeon. They used the proof of conquest and a door opened in the ceiling. Tio then turned into a dragon once again and everyone rode on it. The group flew out of the volcano and out of the sandstorms that surrounded it. Hey Tio, can land now. We'll drive from now on. Alright. Hajime asked Tio to land. This was because he didn't want to draw attention with too many people knowing that Tio was a Ryujin, dragon man. They landed and got into the vehicle. Rimuru was driving, Chloe and Sakura were together with him in the front seat and the others were in the back seat. Tio-san, I have something to ask. Yes. What is it, Shia? Why did you turn into a dragon during the battle? There was no need for that, and now the demons know that Ryujin still exist. Can't your clan get in trouble because of that? About that. I may have lost control when I thought that Master had died and didn't even think straight. It was my mistake. The others were also curious about Shia's question and still didn't understand when Tio answered. Then you made a comment. That's normal if it's with someone you love. Everyone was surprised by you indicating that Tio loved Hajime. Everyone thought she was just a pervert. Hajime gave her a questioning look and asked. Is that true, Tio? Yes, I love Gushin-sama. Everyone was silent for a while. They were surprised at Tio revealing this so casually. Hajime broke the silence and spoke. Well, I'm not in love with you, but that doesn't mean I'm going to stop you from going with us. You are still our companion. Yes, Tio-san is our mate. Let's not leave her. Right. Yes, that's right. Everyone agreed, and Tio looked happy. She approached Hajime, who was being hugged by you, and asked. Gushin-sama. Can I come closer? Normally Hajime would have thrown her away, but he nodded. Tio hugged Hajime's arm and made a happy expression. She looked so docile that it would make anyone think, where did the pervert go? Yu was also hugging Hajime, while Chloe and Sakura were hugging Rimuru, and Shia was a little jealous that she was the only one not hugging someone. After a while of traveling, Rimuru spoke. Chloe, Sakura, I have something to talk to you. What is it, Rimuru-san? It's just that. Rimuru told them something he wanted to do when they arrived in Ankati. The two had no opposition and Rimuru was happy. Thank you. I swear I will continue to give you both the same attention. We already knew that. Ehehe, I had no doubt. The three looked happy and the group continued their journey. In the Duchy of Ankati. 2 days had passed since Kaori, Seal, and Myu stayed behind and the rest of the group went to master the Great Dungeon. Kaori and Seal spent the last few days stabilizing the sick while they waited for the group to return. The two were resting and regaining magical power when Kaori asked. Seal-san. What is that? Seal was eating a popsicle and was confused by Kaori's question. She looked at where Kaori pointed and understood. Kaori was pointing to the blue plush on Ciel's shoulder. It's a way to kill the master's nostalgia. He used to wear this form back in the day and whenever I get lonely I hug it. Ciel hugged the plush. The plush had the appearance of a blue slime with 2 straight eyes. Kaori had heard the story about Rimuru being a demon lord, so she understood why the plush. Ciel was very attached to Rimuru and there was no way she wanted to be away from him, but Rimuru asked her to stay here and she wasn't going to refuse. That's why she made the plush so she wouldn't feel lonely. Ciel-san, I understand. I miss Hajime-kun too. Kaori looked up at the sky as she remembered her beloved. At this moment. Miss Kaori. Miss Ciel. A guard came from across the street and called out to them. I got a warning from the count. He said, they have arrived. Wow, they sure are really fast, the guard said to himself. Hearing the guard's words, Kaori and Ciel went as fast as they could to the entrance of the city. When they arrived they saw Count Ranzi talking to Hajime. Behind Hajime were Rimuru, Chloe, Sakura, Yu and Tio. Hajime was mentally tired after the meeting and was not at all focused on dangers around him. Hajime had detect presence, and was in a peaceful city that had no hostility to him, so he didn't worry about attacks. Luckily for him, Hajime had great reflexes because of the environment and hellish training he went through. If he hadn't, he could have been dead in 2 seconds. *TCHIN*KH. Hajime saw a katana heading towards his back at extreme speed. By sheer reflex, Hajime pulled his weapons and managed to fend off the attack. He was shocked by the speed of the katana, and when he looked at the attacker he saw a person of medium height wearing a black cloak that covered his face. Well, I guess I'm prone to receiving surprise attacks these days. Hajime made a wry comment, but he was really wary of the person who tried to assassinate him. This person had a speed that Hajime could hardly keep up with. In fact, Hajime had to activate limit break to be able to pull his weapons before he was hit. His detect presence didn't hate this person, and it scared him a bit. Also, something he found strange was that the attacker seemed to want to make a shallow cut on him, so probably his blade was poisoned. The cloaked person seemed disappointed that his surprise attack didn't work. The person then said, "I am Akame. I was sent to kill you." Akame took off her hood and drew her katana once again. She had been sent to kill Hajime and wanted to chat, so she said just that. Neither of them moved a muscle. The two were staring at each other as the sand brought by the winds hit their clothes. Hajime didn't move because he really didn't know what to do. Hajime couldn't see himself beating this girl in front of him no matter how hard he tried. Akame didn't move because she thought Hajime must have something up his sleeve. She didn't think that was Hajime's limit. Hajime realized that if he didn't attack, the limit break time would run out, and drew Donner and Schlag. At the same time, Akame drew her katana and went at him. TCHIN. Shit. Hajime let out a disgruntled groan. Akame was giving safe attacks, but even those attacks Hajime had trouble dodging. They exchanged several blows and after a few more blows, Akame increased her speed and gave Hajime's arm a slash. Hajime realized that the sword was poisoned, but he didn't worry about it as Hajime had high resistance to poisons. However, what the? Hajime was surprised as his veins slowly started to turn black and his arm started to hurt. The poison was acting up. "It will be over soon. I'm sorry. I have nothing against you, but I had to do this," Akame said and turned to leave. Her poison was deadly and Hajime would soon die, or so she thought. Dopan. Hugh. Akame was taken by surprise by 2 shots that came from Hajime. She managed to dodge and looked at Hajime in surprise. Hajime was not showing any of the symptoms of the poison. His veins were not black, he was moving normally, and he was not dying. How? Akame was surprised and took a closer look. She saw an empty vial with no lid next to Hajime. She realized that Hajime must have some antidote for his poison, and that surprised her even more. Hajime had used his ambrosia. Before the poison killed him, Hajime took a vial from the treasure chest and drank. "You have a pretty interesting poison in there, but that won't be enough to defeat me," Hajime said and set out to attack. Akame also continued the fight. Hajime and Akame had been fighting for 3 minutes. In this time, Hajime had to use 2 more bottles of ambrosia and was unable to hit any attacks on Akame. Then a problem arose. Hajime's time ran out. His limit break, which was the only thing that enabled him to connect with Akame, was now unusable. He fell to the ground unable to move, and Akame came forward to deliver the final blow. She attacked with her red katana. TCHIN. Sparks jumped in the air. Akame's attack was stopped by another sword. Akame saw a girl with black hair, blue eyes and white clothes between her and Hajime. Hugh. Chloe? As Hajime said, it was Chloe. Chloe had forgotten her cloak in the Count's dining room and had gone to get it. That's when she heard gunshots and went towards them. She then saw Hajime lying on the ground about to be killed and stopped him. Chloe also realized that this girl with the red katana was powerful. That's because Chloe tried to use her math skill on Akame, but it didn't work. This skill analyzed the enemy's skills. However, this skill did not work on Akame. This was a big problem as Chloe's ability worked on both people stronger and weaker than her. The only people who can block this ability are those who have superior abilities like Rimuru, who has Void God Azathoth. In other words, Akame has a superior ability. The only thing that Chloe found strange was that Akame didn't seem to be as strong as Rimuru, a guy who had this kind of ability. If she was as much pain and such, she would have killed Hajime quickly. Chloe then prepared herself for combat. Akame was in trouble. Akame was ordered to kill one person. She could choose between 3 people and kill the one she wanted. The names of the individuals were Chloe, Hajime and Sakura. Akame wanted a lot of information, so she was told why these were her targets. His contractors, the gods, wanted these people dead to shake up their enemy Rimuru. They didn't send Akame to kill Rimuru because they knew she wouldn't stand a chance. So they had Akame kill one of these 3 people who were very important to Rimuru. Akame wasn't told why they wanted to shake this Rimuru, but she wasn't that interested either because she was just doing her job. Akame then chased the targets through the shadows and analyzed each of them. Sakura. She seemed to be the weakest of the 3, but it would be highly difficult for Akame to attack her as Sakura was always close to Rimuru, of which Akame was warned to be careful. Chloe seemed to be extremely powerful and Akame thought she would be harder to kill. Hajime. The best choice. He was not as strong as Chloe and at various times was distant from Rimuru. So Akame followed Hajime through the shadows, and when she saw him alone on the street of Ankadi, she thought it would be the best opportunity for an attack. However, when now Chloe was in front of her ready to fight, Akame didn't want to kill more people than necessary to cure her curse, so she didn't know whether to fight or run. Besides, Akame didn't know Chloe's real strength. I'm going to have to fight, Akame thought. She had missed the surprise attack and it would be problematic to attack them from now on. So she pulled out her katana and prepared for battle. Akame launched a vertical blow with her katana at Chloe. That is the last thing Akame remembers from tonight. Akame was slowly regaining consciousness. Rimuru, she's awake. Akame heard a female voice and then heard footsteps. She felt that she was lying on a bed. Akame began to regain her memories of last night and remembered that she had lost the battle against the girl in white clothes. Akame slowly opened her eyes. What the? She saw that she was in a room lying down, and next to her bed was a blue-haired boy sitting. He had a really beautiful face and Akame recognized him as the enemy of the gods. And since Akame was working for the gods, he was also their enemy. Huh. Akame jumped out of bed and stood in combat stance. She didn't understand the situation she was in. Hey, wait. I'm not going to hurt you. Rimuru tried to calm her down, but Akame didn't seem to believe that he didn't want to cause her harm. Listen to me, please calm down. I just want to talk. I want to know why you attacked us and who you are. Rimuru wanted to confirm her suspicion that it was the gods that sent her, and also wanted to know more about the ability that Seal analyzed of this girl, that goddess of wrought Aklis, a superior ability. I know you can analyze memories, so why don't you do that instead of questioning me? Akame was wary as the gods did not provide much information precisely because of this ability. It's because I would have to kill you for that. That method damages the soul too much and I didn't want to do that. Why? Huh. Why don't you want to kill me? Akame tried to kill Rimuru's brother, so she didn't understand why he wouldn't kill her. Rimuru found her question understandable and said, it's because I was told that you were hesitating in battle. So I wanted to know your motivations before I took you as an enemy. Chloe told Rimuru that Akame hesitated in battle against her. Akame was very defensive and made very bad attacks. It was as if she was conflicted. Akame was still hesitant to believe Rimuru. By his words, Akame was alive because Rimuru didn't consider her an enemy, but she didn't understand how he could think that way. Alright, I'll talk. She asked nothing in return and told. Akame thought now that she should at least repay Rimuru's kindness by listening to her before killing her. Akame then told Rimuru what he wanted to know. She told Rimuru about how she was hired by the gods to kill people close to him and also talked about her ability. Akame's ability could wrap a poison in a sword, but that poison was not strong enough to kill someone. So Akame used his Murasama sword, which amplified the strength of the poison. Like Seal-san said. Rimuru muttered softly. When Seal analyzed Akame's abilities, she said that with her ability Akame could be as strong as Guy or Chloe, so there was no way Chloe could have defeated Akame so easily. Ciel's theory was that Akame came from a world that doesn't use much magic, and so the magical concentration in the air of this world would be low. A world with low magical concentration makes it impossible for the users of abilities to control them properly, and this was probably the case with Akame. Just for the record, the heir of Rimuru's world had 100% magical concentration even before he was reincarnated as slime. Much of this was because of the true dragons that lived there, as well as other beings that exuded a lot of magic like the demon lords. The heir of Tortus had a magic concentration of 50%, so it wasn't the best world to train in either. The Earth had a concentration of 4%, and that was enough as Rimuru didn't know of anyone using magic there. Entao Akame-san, why did you accept the god's proposal? Rimuru heard a little about Akame's background and didn't think she was the kind of person who would murder others for trivial things like money. She seemed to have a strong moral code. Because of that. Akame thought for a moment and took off his gloves. Akame's hands were releasing a strange energy. This energy seemed to have a purple coloration, but it was still transparent. Akame was about to explain to Rimuru about his curse, but before he could. I see, you've lost control of your abilities, right? Maybe a curse or something. How do you know that? She asked incredulously. Rimuru smiled and explained. There's something in your soul. You probably can't visualize souls, but to me it's like a bad energy concentrated in your hands. Akame didn't say anything for her words. She looked a little confused. Okay. Let me take this off. Stop. Akame tried to stop Rimuru from touching his hand as it would kill him. Akame also doesn't know why she tried to deflect his hand, since if she killed Rimuru, the gods would surely heal his hands. However, Rimuru had not killed her and was still listening to her, so she didn't think it was fair to kill him in such a cowardly way. But Akame was unable to deflect her hands in time. What is it? Rimuru didn't understand Akame's reaction. He thought she would like to get rid of the curse, but when Rimuru touched her hands and removed the curse, Akame just stared at Rimuru's hands. Her eyes were wide open and her mouth was hanging open. Akame was amazed that everyone who touched her hands died within seconds, but not only was Rimuru not dead, he had also removed his curse. Before she knew it, tears began to flow from her eyes. Rimuru tried to let go of her hand, but Akame wouldn't let her. She kept holding Rimuru's hand tightly. Rimuru realized that maybe Akame had been with this curse longer than he thought. If it was months or years without touching someone without killing them, it must be pretty horrible, so Rimuru didn't pull her hand away. Akame was simply feeling the touch. She hadn't felt it in a long time. It felt really good not to kill someone by touching them. She took a moment to stop crying and spoke. Thank you. Really, thank you so much, I'll never forget that. Well, it was nothing. You don't have to worry about that. Rimuru turned red as Akame was squeezing his hand hard as if he didn't want to stop feeling what it was like to touch someone. Rimuru let go as he thought that this curse must have been horrible for Akame. I see. So you didn't really want to kill us. You just wanted to get rid of this curse. So you won't attack us anymore, right? Obviously. You don't have to worry about that. I owe you a lot and will never cause any harm to you or your close ones again. Akame said sincerely. Now she had no reason to. Okay. I just want one more piece of information about the gods. Do you know who their leader is? I was not introduced to him, but I was informed that he would be the one to heal me. The only thing I know is his name. I think it was Velda. What? Rimuru was shocked at the name he heard. That person should be dead. Yuki destroyed Velda right after taking his powers, so how was Velda alive? Rimuru became thoughtful. Do you know him? Yes, he is an old 9 enemy. That could be problematic. If Velda still had his powers, he would be a powerful and dangerous enemy. Rimuru wanted to warn the others about that. Okay. Thanks for the information, Akame-san. That was very helpful. Don't say that. Next to what you did for me, it was nothing. Well. And what are you going to do now? You have been healed, so what is your path? Akame was thoughtful upon hearing his question. She then said. I'm going back to my world. I want to go back to serving my country. Akame had nowhere else to go. The only thing she had left was loyalty for her country. I understand. But how will you go back? Akame hadn't thought of that. The gods would take her back, but they certainly wouldn't now. Rimuru realized that she was conflicted and said something. You know. We are also looking for a way out of this world, if you want to. What? Are you saying that I could go with you? Yes, with your strength, you would be of great help. But I attacked one of your people. There's no way they'll accept me after that. Don't worry. I know I can convince them. Rimuru said confidently, and Akame was left with conflicting thoughts. This would be the best chance to leave this world, but Akame didn't want new companions. She thought for a while and then answered Rimuru. If you don't mind then. I guess we'll be traveling companions from now on. Ch 47. Eris and the group was in a restaurant. The only one not here was Rimuru because he was talking to the girl who attacked them. This girl almost killed Hajime and was defeated by Chloe. Hajime wanted to kill her because Akame tried to kill him, so she was his enemy, but Chloe told them to talk to the rest of the group before they decided. They did, and Rimuru decided that he wanted to talk to the girl before he killed her. Everyone accepted and waited for Akame to wake up. Akame woke up and Rimuru went to talk to her. Rimuru was taking a while, so some were impatient. He's taking his time, huh? Hajime was a little irritated at having to wait. If it was just for him, Hajime would have killed Akame already, but he thought Rimuru wanted information. Hajime-kun, you probably think Rimuru-san will kill her after questioning her, right? That's not the case. What? Why do you think that? Sakura guessed Hajime's thoughts and he was confused by her words. The one who answered Hajime was Seal. The master has a method of getting information from individuals, but that method kills the target, so the master probably doesn't want to kill her. But why? That girl tried to kill us. Hajime was confused by Ciel's words and she replied. I don't know why, but I totally trust master. Me too. Yes, I know that Rimuru-san will do his best. Ciel, Chloe and Sakura spoke in that order. The girls in the group thought this was cute, but Hajime clicked his tongue. Tisk. With you guys talking like that, all I can do is wait. Hajime said disgruntled, and everyone waited for Rimuru's return. 5 minutes passed and Rimuru returned. Behind him was the black-haired girl who tried to kill Hajime. Guys, this is DOPAN. Rimuru couldn't even speak as he had to stop Hajime's shot. The shot went towards Akame and Rimuru stopped it with her hand. Akame didn't even move. She knew that Rimuru could stop this shot and left it to him. Even if Rimuru didn't stop the shot, Akame wouldn't move, because that would mean that Rimuru wants her dead and Akame owed her life to Rimuru. To her, if Rimuru wanted her dead, Akame would not complain. She also understood why Hajime would shoot. Hajime-kun. What? She's our enemy. Let me talk first. Hajime snorted at Rimuru's words. Rimuru then activated Illusory World and Thought Acceleration to talk to Hajime. This conversation lasted a long time, but in the real world it lasted only 2 seconds. Sigh. If you insist so much, I won't attack you anymore, but I don't recognize you as a companion. Hajime said grumpily and looked away. I think that's the best I'm going to get. Guys, as I was saying, this is Akame. Rimuru said and told everything he found out in his conversation with Akame. Chloe and Ciel were also shocked to find out that Velda was alive and leading the gods. After Rimuru finished speaking, the girls introduced themselves. Nice to meet you, Akame-chan. We'll get along well from now on. I'm Kaori. It's a pleasure. I'm Yu. It will be nice to have you with us. My name is Sakura. I'm Shia. My name is Chloe. You can call me Ciel. Tio. And this is Myu. The girls introduced themselves and Rimuru introduced Myu. Akame was a little shy as these were the people she was trying to kill yesterday and they were introducing themselves casually, but she still introduced herself. It's a pleasure to meet you. Papa, is this Oni-chan going to travel with us now? Myu asked Hajime, who was drinking his coffee. Hajime was grumpy, but he wasn't going to ignore Myu, so he nodded. Iba. Myu seemed happy to have another sister in the group and walked towards Akame. Akame didn't know how to talk to Myu, so she just stood there waiting for Myu to do something. Myu hugged Akame, leaving her surprised. Akame stroked Mayu's head and Myu asked, Oni-chan, who do you love? No one understood Mayu's question and Akame let out a confused groan. All Oni-chans want to be with either Papa or Rimuru ni. Yu-ne told me it's for love. Which one does Akame-ne love? The group members understood what Myu was talking about. Relatively all the female members of the group liked either Hajime or Rimuru, so Myu wanted to know who her new Oni liked. Akame thought this was cute and bent down to speak. I don't like this way of either of them, Myu-chan. So who does Oni-chan love?
Quote. Mayu looked confused and Akame was silent with her question. She remembered her beloved who passed away and a pained expression came over her face. The others realized that this must be a sensitive subject for Akame and were wondering if they should change the subject. Akame took a quick glance at Rimuru, but no one noticed. She then spoke. Quote. The person I love is no longer with us. He has already gone to heaven. Huh, I see. My other daddy has gone to heaven too. Mayu said and hugged Akame to comfort her. It was really a very cute scene. The others looked at this with kind looks and Akame thought Mayu was really adorable. The group ate at the restaurant and then left Ankati.
See. This is the group's current location. Everyone was inside the submarine built by Hajime and Rimuru. This submarine could withstand strong water pressure and could travel a long distance in a short time. The height was controlled with gravity stones and the hull was made of a powerful ore, hardness 9/10, and was coated with magisteel and azantium. The speed was very high because of the water spirits and everyone found it impressive. At the moment the submarine was above the water because the group decided to stop to rest. Sakura, Shia and Akame were sitting on top of the submarine looking at the beautiful view. They had never seen the sea before so they were pretty excited. Chloe, Tio, Hajime, Myu, Yu and Kaori were eating in the main room and meanwhile Rimuru and Seal were in the bedroom kissing. Kiss. Seal-san. And, Master. The two were kissing and things were heating up. Rimuru was already kissing Ciel's body and his hand was on her ass. Seal was very close to Rimuru and her cheeks were red. They were in what could be considered prelude. Seal took off her blouse and at this moment, Pam, a loud noise was heard from outside and the submarine gave a slight shudder. Rimuru and Seal were surprised and Rimuru said, I think we'd better check it out. Yes. Seal looked a little grumpy for not continuing, but agreed. They got dressed and left. When they arrived on top of the submarine, they saw everyone in the group except Shia and Myu. They were not here as Hajime thought it might be dangerous for Myu, so he left Shia looking after her. Ah, Rimuru, you came. Hajime-kun, what happened? Something attacked the submarine, but we can't find what it is. Even the submarine's scanner doesn't detect it. I see. Can Seal-san do something? Rimuru asked Seal who was standing next to him. Ciel's mood seemed to have improved a bit for her being able to help her master and she replied, yes, cheered. Seal then scanned the area. The reason the scanner didn't detect anything was because the attackers are below the submarine. The only blind spot in the scan. Who? Below is it? Let's see then. Hajime said and threw a timed grenade into the water. That grenade would reach below the submarine and drive the attackers away from there. It would not damage them, but would send the message, we know your location. Boom, the water churned and a few seconds later, several silhouettes appeared in the water. Who are you? What is that metal structure? One of the men asked. This man, just like the others, had gills instead of ears and wore a blue spear. These were probably the sea people who inhabit Arisen, the city of Myu. The man who spoke seemed to be the leader because his uniform was more defensive than the others. Hey, you are the people. Quiet. Answer our questions. We won't let them take anyone else. Rimuru tried to speak, but was interrupted by the man from the sea who seemed quite irritated. In addition, he seemed to confuse the group as he indicated that they took someone. Look man. Let us talk first. We're with. Shut up. You're not going to fool us. Surrender now and hand over your weapons. If you don't do that, we'll attack. Hajime sat talking about Myu, but none of the seamen seemed to want to listen. No one in the group wanted to surrender their weapons before dialogue, so the man ordered the attack. Die. Swallow that. Take that. All the men of the sea people gave brave shouts and went on the attack. Everyone in the group sighed as they saw the soldiers not listening at all. Dopan. Hajime fired shots at points that would not seriously hurt. He attacked seriously as this was Mayu's people, but he was still a little irritated. Nuo. Huahu. Ah. All the soldiers let out groans of pain and confusion. They couldn't understand what hurt them. None of them were in any condition to fight and Hajime then stopped shooting. He lowered his weapons and said, now can we talk? I might even forgive you for. Fall back. The leader shouted his order and all the seamen dived to escape. The group could have followed them, but they didn't, as that would only make the situation worse with Arison. Sigh. They didn't listen at all. We didn't even have time to talk about MYU. Yes, that is really problematic. They said and went back inside the submarine. They rested a little longer and Rimuru took the wheel. Cuddled up to him were Chloe and Seal. Meanwhile Seal was kissing his clone. Akame had MYU on her lap, and meanwhile the other girls were fighting over who would hug Hajime. Thus the sub headed toward Arison. They have arrived. The submarine arrived in Arison. Arison was a city that floated on water and had many beautiful structures with blue or green colors.
Rimuru and Hajime were the first to get off the submarine, and of course their reception was Shin. Several spears pointed in their direction. The soldiers were also from the sea people and did not attack, but seemed ready to do so at any moment.
You are the ones who wounded my men, right? A stout seaman asked.
They attacked us first. We tried to dialogue, but they wouldn't listen. Yes, that was their mistake. But what are you people doing here? Who are you, and why do you have this metal structure?
The man seemed very wary of the group, but seemed to believe Hajime. Hajime then said, "First of all, let me show someone." Hajime said, and out of the submarine came Kaori with MYU on her lap. Hajime thought it would be faster that way. MYU. All the soldiers lowered their weapons at the sight of MYU. As the group assumed, Arison's soldiers were out of control because of Mayu's demise, so upon seeing her perhaps they would become more susceptible to a conversation.
Rimuru then explained to the stout man, who he later found out was the army commander, about Mayu's rescue and how the group had come to take her back to her mother. He also showed the official mission document signed by the director of the Ilwa Adventurers Guild branch.
You have some more business to attend to, but first we wanted to take MYU to her mother, is that okay?
Yes, that's fine, but Rimuru suggested taking Mayu to her mother, but the commander seemed to have something to talk about. The commander then told that Ramiya, Mayu's mother, tried to go after the kidnappers who took Mayu, but in the fight against some of the criminals, Ramiya broke both her legs. The commander didn't think that would be a good thing for Mayu to see. Don't worry, Rimuru said, and everyone headed toward the hospital to see Ramiya.
When they got there, they saw a beautiful woman with greenish blonde hair. She was trying to get up, but the doctors were stopping her. Ramiya was doing this because she heard that MYU had returned. Mama. MYU. Ramiya was surprised to be hugged tightly by MYU. She stroked Mayu's head and hugged her tightly as well.
Mayu, I'm sorry. I couldn't protect you. I'm so sorry.
It's okay, mommy. MYU is here now. MYU? Ramiya was surprised to be comforted by her 5-year-old daughter. She was thinking that MYU looked more mature.
Mommy, what happened to your legs? Mayu was startled to see how bad Ramiya's legs were, so she decided to call those who always helped her. Papa, Oni-san, come quick. Mama's hurt.
Huh. Hey MYU, you said just now you said. Ramiya was confused and many stares were drawn to them, as Ramiya was super popular in Arison and never married since Mayu's father. So everyone was curious about Mayu's new father. Don't worry MYU, we will help you. Hajime and the group approached and reassured MYU. Ramiya was even more confused to see the distinguished group that was so close to MYU. Seal-san, how long do you think it will take? If I help, it's 2 days. Seal answered Kaori. Hajime then said, right, we have a lot to talk about, so let's heal Ramiya at home. Yeah. I think that's a good idea. Do the honors, Hajime-kun. They agreed, and Ramiya wasn't understanding anything, but to make her more confused came Hajime.
What's with this situation? Hajime picked Ramiya up like a princess and took her to his house. When they entered her house, they laid Ramiya down on the couch and Kaori started healing along with Seal.
It looks like it will take a while, but she'll be walking again in a few days.
I thought it was unrecoverable. By the way, can someone explain to me what's going on? And why does Mayu call that person father? Ramiya asked her questions and the others explained her what happened to Mayu after the kidnapping. They also told how they saved Mayu in Furin and how she came to call Hajime Dad. And to think that so much would happen to Mayu. If I had been able to save her. Mom, you don't have to worry. I can take care of myself. Mayu said and puffed out her chest confidently. Ramiya was impressed with Mayu's maturity and said, Well, I have to thank you for all you have done for my you. I'll never forget it, and if asked, I'll do anything to help.
No need to worry. Yes, we love MYU too, we will definitely protect her.
That's right. They told her not to worry. Kaori said she had finished the healing and would do it again tomorrow. Rimuru then said,
Okay. I guess we'll go find a hotel for the night and come back tomorrow to see MYU. Yeah, I think we'd better go. Wait. My house is quite spacious, you can stay here. I insist.
Ramiya went against Rimuru and Hajime's words. She seemed quite determined, so they decided to stay. In fact, she also made a comment. Yufufu, it's normal for daddy to stay together with mommy, and this caused some of the girls to cast cold glances.
Please don't say that. The temperature in the room has dropped.
Era, what a popular boy, Yufufu. She took things lightly and the girls worsened their stares. A beautiful woman talking to Hajime like that made them grit their teeth. It was nighttime. Rimuru, Sakura and Seal had already gone to sleep. They took the biggest room so the three of them and Chloe could sleep in the same room. Chloe had not gone to sleep as she was talking with Ramiya and the others. At the moment here were Mayu, Ramiya, Yu, Shia, Akame, and Tio. They were all drinking coffee or tea and Mayu was eating sweets.
Where are Hajime-san and Kaori? Shia noticed and asked. The others also looked curious and Yu replied.
They need privacy today. They all got confused looks and Tio had a perverted look on his face. Mayu seemed not to have listened and continued eating her candy.
So they're going to? Probably, I'm not sure, but I think so. Shia was red and Yu revealed her suspicion. Yu, I thought you wouldn't want that since you and Kaori are always competing. Tio commented curiously and Yu agreed with her head. But Hajime loves her, so I won't stop them. Yu said confidently and the others were impressed. Meanwhile in Hajime's room, Hajime and Kaori were lying in a cuddle while Kaori was looking at the moon in the window. That reminds me. Of our conversation in the moonlight. That was the first conversation we ever really had. I guess you're right. It is a very similar night indeed. So, I wanted to ask you something. How is it going for you? What do you mean? You know, coming with us on trips and stuff, are you enjoying it? Kaori was happy to see him caring about her and smiled. She kissed him and said. Yeah, it's been pretty hectic, but I'm loving it. Saving cities, meeting angels, meeting a city that floats. It's all really amazing. I'm glad. Hajime said and kissed her too. The two of them kept kissing for a while and after they stopped Kaori said. Hajime-kun, that would be the perfect night, you know? The perfect night for. I see. Hajime soon realized what Kaori was talking about. They still hadn't done it, even though they were boyfriend and girlfriend.
If you want to, then it's okay. I want to. Actually, Kaori had wanted to do it for a while, but couldn't because of the other girls sleeping in the same room.
Kaori said and got on top of Hajime. Hajime put his hand on her waist and kissed her. They kissed a few times and Hajime took off his shirt.
Kaori also took off the top of her priestess clothes and stood half naked. Hajime started kissing Kaori's neck and she was embarrassed. Kiss, kiss. And the two did the dids while Hajime did this many times with Yu. It was his first with Kaori. So does Kaori she give her first time to Hajime and as this night passed she would graduate from being a maiden. After a few hours the two had finished and Kaori was left exhausted and was sleeping next to Hajime who was looking at her with a warm look. Hajime didn't think Kaori would get pregnant because of this night, as Hajime's body had undergone several changes with the monster flesh and it was quite unlikely that having children would be possible. Hajime-kun. Hajime placed his hand on Kaori's cheek and she gave him a kiss. He hugged Kaori from behind and pulled a blanket over them so the two could sleep. Nothing needed to be said, the two of them simply slept in their embrace.